All right, recording is in progress. Today we're going to talk about something I've wanted to talk about since January 1. I've just been waiting 15 days. Wait,
17 days.
15 days. I don't even know the date to discuss this. And this happens every year. Okay. I think last year we did a video like this, but this is going out to our accountability group, small group, put this out in email, everything. And it's called scaling your New Year's Eve your New Year's resolutions. And I'm going to start off with the best story I ever got at this. I had a client New Year's last year, New Year's Day, emailed me a PowerPoint with all of these broken down goals for her. Not only were they for her, but she wrote down all of her boyfriend's goals too. And I was like, okay. And these were like huge goals, like almost trying to change who you are.
Yeah.
New Year's Eve for New Year's resolutions. Weight loss, get to the gym every morning really early. Go for walks every day. Don't eat this food. Don't eat that food. Not gonna. I'm gonna quit this food. Quit that. Like I mean, it was incredible, and I appreciated how long it took to do it, but it was unrealistic. And I think we all start these New Year's resolutions with these big objective goals and forget about those daily goals, right?
I think a lot of people write New Year's resolutions of who they want to be, but not actually who they are. Because you have this idea in your head, like, I can do all of these great things and this is where I want to be, but you kind of forget to start at where you're at. And you think of like long term versus more of a short term.
Well, they
So
think good.
I think it's a great goal to have really big long term goals, but people underestimate maybe how long that might take, or they kind of overestimate where they currently are.
Yes. Or they write down the end result that they want to have. They want to say,
Yes.
I want to gain, I want to lose 30 pounds.
Right.
What we forget is what that takes daily, what it
Right.
takes daily. Another plug for Atomic Habits, right? And read that book. It's funny. I've had probably 5 or 6 people hit me up on social. They said, I started reading this book from you guys have recommended it for so long. So they're like, you start to see their posts. They're like, a buddy of mine now always hashtag stack habits, stack habits, stack habits, stack habits. And if you're one of those people who 2 weeks after their New Year's resolutions go, I bit off more than you can chew, or I bit off more than you can chew, this video is going to be for you. We're going to break this down what we're doing in our accountability group and almost how I'm primarily coaching people. I don't write these long-term nutrition plans for people anymore. These big
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea for them to see what it looks like, right? And you've seen what I do for new
Yeah.
um your macros and what your intake should look like, what tracking looks like, what tracking servings looks like if you don't want to track your macros. We're taking 3 to 5 things that you can do daily, and we're tracking how long you can do that in a month.
Yeah.
They're habit goals, right? And if you're watching this video and you're like, wow, it's 2 weeks in, I can't get up every morning at 5 a.m. and go to the gym. Um, I can't just rip right off the bat and be caffeine free, sugar free, gluten free, dairy free, plant based, keto, IF every day. Like, you know what I'm saying? All
Yeah.
the buzzwords. Because they do that. They think on the 31st that they're going to wake up on the 1st and be a whole different human. This video is for you, and this is what we want you to do. Find 3 to 4 goals that you can do daily, 3 to 5, and start tracking it for a month. That's coming from her. That's her thing. That's how I've started coaching people. And because
It's
you,
funny because we're on opposite sides of the screen. Like, I think I'm on your other side.
what did I point at?
You're
Bill?
on this side for me.
Are you?
But
Oh,
either way,
interesting
I
to
don't
see.
I don't even start with 3 to 5. I honestly start with 1 to 2, because 3 to 5 can still be a lot for people, especially if they're very new. Like, say you have somebody that is a little bit more familiar and is getting to the gym every day, 3 to 5 is totally fine. But if you have somebody that doesn't really know what they're doing, I say 1 to 2.
Eating
And
breakfast, drinking water.
correct, just something super basic, like let's move for 10 minutes every day and let's get like at least some fruits and vegetables in every day. And it's building off of those things. And that's what a lot of people forget, is that you have to build these habits. You can't just have these habits. You have to start from square one and start really simple. So if you're only getting one serving of fruits and vegetables in right now, but you're trying to get 8 in, you can't go straight to 8. Your body's really not going to like it. But also, it's going to be really hard for you learning how to do that. So instead of going from 1 to 8, you're going to go 1 to 3, and then 3 to 5, and then so on until you get to where you want to be.
So we're talking number one, focus on daily habits, not objective long-term goals like lose 30 pounds.
Right.
I've heard one, I want to read a book a week. Well, if you're not a reader, how about a book a month? How about just read 20 minutes a day?
Yeah.
And watch that stack up into turning into a book a month, right?
Yeah.
Like read for 10 minutes at the end of the day. Don't just say I'm going to read a book a week. What do you do daily to achieve that, right? You're talking 1 to 2, I'm talking 3 to 5. When we talk about those goals, what would you say is the number one thing about the goal? Would you say, you said something early before we got it has to be something you can do every day for a year?
Yeah. That, I mean, I ask people when they're making a goal, especially a long-term goal, or even if it's a short-term, just month to month, I'm like, can you do this every day for 30 days, or can you do this every day for 365 days?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously you're going to come into the like, well, I'm going to have some sick days, I'm going to have some travel days, but I want you to make a goal realistic enough that you can maintain it for 365 days. So movement, daily movement. Again, it doesn't have to be an hour workout in the gym, but can you walk every day for 10 minutes? That counts.
Yes.
You know, can you eat healthy majority of the time? So like, that's one of those goals. It's like, you're not going to eat healthy every single day, but 80% of the year, can you eat healthy?
Yes.
Can you get your fruits and vegetables in? Can you get your water in? 80% of the year, can you get 8 hours of sleep?
So far talking to people and clients, I have a wide spectrum, and I'm sure you do too. I have some people whose goal is daily, I'm not going to eat fast food. Like that's a struggle for them. I have people, and we've talked about this, who they'll binge eat, right?
Yeah.
That's a psychological thing. That's a little bit past what we can do, I think.
Yeah.
But every day it's a struggle for this person to not get up and go get 2 Whoppers on the way home from school or work, because nobody knows he can slam 2 Whoppers and be okay. So our goals, 100 ounces of water a day, daily. Don't buy fast food, which forces him to bring his food.
Yeah.
He's going to walk 10 minutes a day. I have clients that are ready to track on MyFitnessPal. They want to track protein and calories daily. They want to not skip meals.
Yeah.
They want to shut down their electronics 2 hours before they go to bed and not eat 2 hours before they go to bed.
Yeah. I think a lot of people overlook too how much actually goes into this. And that's like what you and I really try to focus on people, is it's not just workouts and nutrition. It's like, I have one client working on community involvement because she's just at a place where she's not necessarily happy. So I'm like, well, how often are you getting inside, like with your community?
Yes. Yeah. The book talks.
Like,
yeah.
That's what, like, I'm like, go to group classes, go find something around town that like really just sparks your interest. So those are things I work on with my clients too. And I know you do too, but it's like creating your own happiness essentially, and creating a space that you want to exist in, like a body that you want to exist in, and a mind you want to exist in, and a home you want to exist in,
Man, the number one thing I got from the book that was counterintuitive to my personality is find a support group or a community. He calls it a community. Find a tribe of people who have very similar interests. Because I promise you, if you want to do dry January, hang around people that don't drink. If you want to go work out in the morning, find a group of people that also work out in the morning.
Right.
It's amazing how and it's human characteristic to become what you surround yourself by. Right? CrossFit's made a little killing on that.
Yeah.
Community. I'm involved in the jiu-jitsu community. It's the culture of the people you're around and the community around is a killing. So that brings us to one, and I'm going to add it. Don't try to do this alone.
Absolutely. Like, I know I'll shit on classes from time to time because they're not always the greatest workout programs. But at the end of the day, like, I coached them for years. I love classes for the sense of community. I love classes for the sense of motivation. I love classes for the senses of accountability because that's what they are. When you sign up with your name under a class and you pay that money monthly, you're more likely to show up.
Mhm.
It's just proven fact. It's become harder for us, and we've talked about this being completely online because the accountability is just not the same as signing up for something in class, like in person. So find the things that you need for you to work. It doesn't mean that you need to do class every single day, but I know you just did a little Pilates session. Like, find something once a week that's fun. I have a client that does like water aerobics. I have clients that do yoga. I have clients that do Pilates. I have clients that do different like running clubs.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Find a
Find
friend.
that.
Just find one friend
Yeah.
who wants to
Find
do it
one
with.
friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care if that friend's
Play
a
intramural sports.
every time
Intramural sports is huge.
every time you get up and go for your walk, text your friend, did my walk.
Mhm.
Had my vegetables. Go back and forth. And like, listen, the purpose of an accountability partner is not someone that busts your balls when you screw up.
No.
Psychological thing of saying, wow, I got to report to some, like, I don't want to, I don't want to let somebody else down. I want to do
Yep.
that. Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, don't do this alone. And so many people write these big, huge New Year's resolutions, and there's nobody else to do it with them. Usually because
Yeah.
they're so extreme, nobody wants to do it with them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Another
I
one.
think that's
Go
go
ahead.
for it. No, you're good.
Don't just quit after a bad day. This is
Yeah.
number 4. When you have a bad day and you miss those days, I have a client that does a happy face on the day she hits all her goals, a straight face on the day she hits a majority of her goals, and a sad day when she hits no goals.
Yeah.
Right. And I tell her the goal is to always have a smiley face after a sad face.
I
Don't
love
have
that.
don't have 2 off days in a row.
Yeah. I love that.
That one off day is going to happen. Saturdays and Sundays are hard for some people. Kids games, family, events, all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Thrown off your
Yeah.
routine. People are so hard on themselves when they get a day and it doesn't work and it's not perfect. Man, nothing will sabotage your plans in anything if you are brutal on yourself about it. Brutal. I have a client right now that's traveling. We have travel goals and non-travel goals. We had to set up 2 goals.
Yeah.
And one of our goals on the traveling was I'm still going to track when they travel.
Yeah.
That's hard. And she's already kind of like, oh, I'm worried about not being able to track. Well, if you can't track, we'll find other ways. But just because you can't do it, don't crush it. Don't just stop.
Absolutely.
And
And people forget to look at the bigger picture. And this is why I do a consistency calendar for all of my clients individually, because I'll go and highlight the days that they did well and the days that they missed. If you have one bad day a week, fine. But over the course of a month, that's only 4 days out of 30. If you are 80% on your game for 365 days, 20% off your game, that's only 73 days. In the grand scheme of things, I mean, it seems like a lot, but over the course of a year, 73 of 365 is nothing. That's
what
literally nothing.
do we say? 24 out of 30 is success.
Just about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I even sometimes will go down to 18, 19, 20. It kind of just depends on what's going on in their lives.
Yeah.
I just know, like, I travel frequently with my life, and I know that if I can at least be on my game as best as I can, moving every single day and choosing healthy foods, like, it comes down to what you measure as success, obviously. But I mean, 18 out of 30 days is still over half.
Yes.
And if you're still succeeding with that, then you don't need to pressure yourself to be perfect on other days, especially when you live a really busy lifestyle. So if you can't track on the days that you're really busy, use the hand method, use the plate method. There's other ways of tracking that's not just MyFitnessPal.
Yeah. When you have a rough day, don't quit. Don't murder yourself because it's a bad day. Don't murder yourself because you had a kid sick and you didn't get breakfast, and you had 5 soccer games that day and you didn't get. I mean, God, have a little bit of grace, right? So don't just quit and say, I can't do it. Well,
Yeah.
maybe we modify your goals. Maybe we change some things that are doable for you every day, right?
Right.
And then the last thing is, we already talked about it. So we'll go through it again. One, focus on daily habits, not long-term objective goals, right? If you want to lose 30 pounds this year, worry about the things you got to do daily to get it done, not the big goal, because you're going to be up and down with your weight.
Also remember that 30 over the course of a year is like 2 pounds a month. So don't get mad at yourself when you're only losing like, a pound a week or something like that,
That's still success.
long term.
Yes.
Long term. Yeah.
Number two, can you do this daily for a year? Are these habits things that you can turn? Because what do we say? It's great to change your habits daily, but the goal is to make them intuitively part of who you are.
Correct. I think doing 30-day challenges is fun sometimes. I just don't want anybody to get their hopes up of you're going to be this totally different person after 30 days. With dry January, we've talked about it. You might feel like a totally different person because you're not drinking alcohol, but giving up white bread for a month is not going to make you feel that much different. Just remember those things. If you want to challenge yourself to walk a mile a day, love that. I think that's fantastic for a 30-day period. I think dry months are fantastic, but don't go so balls to the wall for 30 days expecting to be this like totally different person at the end of 30 days. You need a year.
These habits need to become intuitively part of who you are, right?
Correct.
If your goal for 30 days is to drink 80 ounces of water, then you need to be able to, at the end of the month, naturally be drinking 80 ounces of water, or a time frame, right?
Yeah.
If you go for a daily walk, it needs to be instinctually who you become, right? That's the thing with creating habits, is we have to be purposeful on them so they eventually become part of intuitively who we are. Right.
That's what I tell my clients. I'm like, your habits eventually should just feel like habits, which is what they are. Like you do them every day and you don't think about them.
Yes. 3, don't try to do it alone.
Right.
Find a community, find an accountability partner. We can be that for you. A friend can be that for you. I have found that spouses don't do well for accountability with each other with their fitness.
Not unless your spouse has very similar goals. No.
Yeah, I found that's like they hate each other at the end of it, right? Because you always have one that's more gung-ho than the other, right?
Yeah.
4, don't just quit after a bad day. If you chase perfection here, you're going to quit. I'm just seeing it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Number 5, track those habits monthly. And maybe your habits change. Maybe at the end of the month, you drink your water. It's part of who you are. You don't eat fast food. It's part of who you are. And you're going to bed, and you're shutting down your electronics 2 hours before you go to bed. It becomes part of who you are.
Yeah.
Maybe build one more habit on top of that the next month.
And I would say, to add on to that, track it. Like, I know you've done it with your clients. I've done it with my clients. There's a great printout I've posted in our accountability group. I can post in our big group too, that I found in Jordan Syatt's like big inner circle. And it has the days of the month written inside each month. So it's like January's in block letters and it's got 1, 2, 3, then like 4, 5, 6 down each letter. And you color in every day that you meet your goals. So you can print out a couple, color in like, I'm going to do pink for the days I get my workouts, black for the days I miss. I'm going to do blue for the days I track my food, black for the days I miss. Yeah. But over time, you see how accurate you were. So that when you go into February, you can be like, okay, well, I got 18 out of 31 for January. I'd like to get 20 of 28 for February. Be realistic with yourself and track it so that you can see where you actually end up.
Yes. And this is all about scaling, not just New Year's resolutions. It's just the time of the year is cool, so we're talking about it. Yeah. This anytime during the year, right?
Right.
People, trust me, in March or April, we'll get I want to look good in the summer. Mm-hmm. Right? And I'll probably do the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Right? I'll probably do the same exact thing with people. Mm-hmm. Listen, we're always going to modify how we coach and how we do things around here. Just the more we work with people, the more we understand human behavior, the more we do our own studying, the more we do trial and error with clients, the more we realize that stacking days, giving yourself some grace, not trying to be perfect, and focusing on the daily habits that you, not long-term objective goals, right? You know, I once had a very overweight man tell me, I think I want to compete in bodybuilding. And he was like 50 pounds overweight. Guy hasn't worked out. He's worked out for like 6 months of the last 10 years. And man, I didn't want to be a dream crusher, but we eventually had to be like, okay, you better be able to like be very, very serious about this for 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, laid out what it looked like. He's like, wow, I didn't realize that. Sometimes we just don't know how hard it is. We don't know how hard it is. Did you know that 80% of people who gain 80% of people who lose 20 pounds or more gain it back? 80% of people who lose
That
20
doesn't surprise me. That doesn't
gain
surprise
it
me though,
back.
because you think about how people are losing weight, and majority of the time these people are choosing diets or lifestyles that are not something they can keep up with for a year. And people doing 75 hard, like, I love that you're challenging yourself, but you're going to lose all this weight and then you're going to stop working out twice a day, and you're going to stop, like, you're going to bring all those foods back in that you cut out. You're going to gain it right back.
Society tells you though that if you can't do it, you're soft.
Right.
The best way to do it nowadays is the soft way.
Be
Oh,
soft.
I want to crush myself.
Absolutely.
I want to crush myself, right? Um, you know, doing keto for 2 weeks and losing 13 pounds, great. But like we always want to go back to the things that worked for us. But when you gain all the weight back, it didn't work for you.
Doesn't work. Yeah. Yeah.
And I almost feel this is going to sound crazy to say. We could probably make a whole lot more money being the extremists on the far end of promoting bullshit.
Absolutely. If we put people down in these ridiculous calorie deficits for 8 weeks, like, we can absolutely do that. We've done, like, our challenges have shown how much progress you can make in 8 weeks, but we're not being good coaches if we don't, like, if we're not teaching for a year. We're not being good coaches if we're only teaching somebody how to lose weight in 8 weeks. That's not going to make you happy.
I could get a great before and after of a keto client who lost a ton of water, lost a ton of muscle. I would love to go see the before and after 2 or 3 months after that.
Yeah.
And we could be, I'm just not going to be a charlatan. I can't do it. I can't fake it. Guys, it's a long process. Losing weight is a long, hard process. Being healthy is a long, hard process. Mike Wine says it all the time. Be careful giving somebody the cure if they're too afraid to give up what makes them sick.
Yeah.
Right? We talked about empathy a couple of videos ago. We struggle sometimes because if you're going to come to me and say that you want A, B, C, and D for your life from your health perspective, and you're not willing to give up the things that are making you sick, then maybe it's not your time. And that is okay.
Yeah.
It is okay. But that stat of 80% of people who gain 20 pounds, lose 20 pounds or more, gain it back, that means that we're failing. We're failing people, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying me and you. I'm saying
Right.
this industry.
Health professionals. Yeah. Yeah.
We're failing you by coaching you how to lose 20 pounds and not instilling daily habits to keep that off. 80%, 8 of 10.
And at the end of the day, that weight loss is not worth it if you're not happy.
Yes, I agree.
Period.
I'll tell you this. I've been crazy shredded. 7% body fat.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks.
Yeah. That's what, well, I posted about,
sucks.
I posted about my weight gain from, I mean, I did like a really strict diet up until my cousin's wedding back in June. And I lost like 15 pounds in 3 weeks. I looked freaking amazing, but I wasn't eating the things that I normally like to eat. And I gained that weight right back and a little bit more. But I'm so happy. I'm happy with my life. And I have to remind myself of that. And I have to remind my clients of that too. Like, sometimes that little bit of extra weight that you're keeping on, that 5 to 10 pounds, that's your balance. That's just your balance. If you're not happy with your life now, you will not be happy at your leanest. You might like the way you look in the mirror, but it's not worth it if you're not happy.
You don't feel good. There's a lot of
Exactly.
people who are shredded that feel miserable. They're unhealthy. I've had clients come to me and say, I want to get this shredded. I want to look like this. I want to get this lean. When you actually, and like, I never tell somebody, no, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
right? I understand some people just want to do it to see if they can, and I've coached people like that. But I also want to tell them what's at risk, especially females.
Oh, for sure.
Really want to drop below 12% body fat. There's a lot of things that are going to come with it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah, I've had to tell some women that set their body weight goal. I normally don't ask for a body weight goal, but I've had to tell some women, I'm like, that's too low for for you. That's just too low for you. And I'm just going to tell you up front, you're not going to be very happy and you're not going to feel good at that weight.
the risk, and for what? To look like that for 3 days when you go to the beach,
Yeah.
right? It's not worth it. The metabolic issues that I know women have, it's not worth it. For dudes, it's not worth sacrificing the muscle, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, at 7%, I looked really cool, but like I didn't like it. Right.
Also, nobody really gives a shit, you know? People looking at you don't really care. They just don't.
No,
They just don't.
no, nobody cares.
Nobody really
Nobody,
cares.
nobody, you're right. You're so right. Nobody gave a shit out 7%.
No. Nobody freaking cares. People might look at you and say, wow, that guy or that girl looks really good. But at the end of the day, they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So look how you want to look in a way that makes
Yeah.
you feel balanced, in a way that's realistic, in a way that you can maintain for a year. Understand there's fluctuations. But if your goals are unrealistic, you're going to really hate your life.
So if this hits home to you, which I think it hits, listen, if you've been up and down in weight, I think that 80% of people who gain 20 or lose 20 gain it back. That should hit home with a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure.
Setting up goals that you can't hit and then quitting, that should hit home with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right. Um, biting off more than you can chew, that should hit home with a lot of people. Is this flashy? Is it cool? Are we branding it like your keto whole 30 carnivore? So, no. But you know what? This works. And there's a mental health side to it. And if you need help, hit us up. Let us know. There's tons of ways to contact us. I think this is going to hit home for a lot of people.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
if you're watching this video, just know that our goal is to help teach you sustainable, long-term healthy habits over time with trial and error so you reach your goals. You're just going to have to decide, am I sick and tired of feeling and looking this way?
Right.
Right. So, all right, everybody, signing off. Stopping video.
I think it's still recording, but you just stopped your video.
Am I? That's
Yeah.
even better then. See?